it's a little bit more realistic, and it is being a little bit more blunt towards the TeamOne side, but you'd have to wait and see exactly how they can get forward. Sprout starting things off on the City side, and for Nuke, I guess it's all about the early momentum and being able to get pressure on early.
Well, the pistol round is going live. We've got utility for PRT and Pestadello, and a fast play in from the TeamOne side, wasting absolutely no time. Shots on from Slacks, gets himself 1 kill, but it's actually the C side that come out on top. Father than Denis going to try to turn the situation around. A 3 versus 2. Bomb dropped in the open, and Maluki and Pestadello still taking fights in separate positions, isolated by the CT side, so a 1-on-3 now for Maluki.
And even in this position, Denis is starting to creep further forward. Maluki should have no chance of being able to get anything in this pistol round. And for TeamOne, that was quite pacey, just trying to fly out from that hub position, get that early contact into the upper bomb side. But just look at the floor players and how much impact they find. A couple of kills coming in for Denis. And the important factor, no bomb plant there for the T side at all.
Absolutely not. No money gain for the Team1 side. A very awkward stance as a result of that for them. So this is going to end up being a pistol that goes the way of Sprout that might swing into a very nice setup at the CT side. And you're looking at the CT side of Nuke, obviously expecting that they'll have a pretty good time in that respect. That's SMG's out, no bomb plant for one, but they're still going to go in for the rebuy. As you can see, the Kevlar is out, the upgrade pistols are also involved. So there's a little bit to work with here, Dwayne.
Yeah, there is, and for Slacks, this is going to be proving ground for him up against TeamOne. I think he had a difficult time against Big yesterday in that best of one, just being able to find a little bit more consistency. Farfan too, I wonder how much impact he could find. Another quick play towards upper.
Actually down through the vent dive here. Pestadello was spotted there by Favre, and he's still going to watch out into the squeaky door, close it to ensure that he can't let any more players downstairs, and Cressy knows what is going on. The smoke to the cross, there's a slight gap in it, but they're going to plant in the smoke itself. Meanwhile, PRT's found a pick towards outside, so Spinny is caught, and the man advantage goes the way of TO.
Farfan should be able to find a little bit of a pick back, but this now comes down to how quickly can the T side start slowing this down, because we're even seeing a little bit of aggression out towards Secret.
Nades in, Farvan gets tagged up by it. Sprout are pretty suppressed here. They're trying to make their way in from ramp first and foremost before the Secret players can really get involved. And they are doing a pretty decent job for the moment here. Checking out Dark. Time is starting to run short though upon the CT side. And XNS finds Farvan next up. 2 players down. No trades from the CT side. And it looks to remain that way as time is up for Sprout. They've got to get out of here. Team1 are going to steal it.
Yeah, that's a very good post plant coming through for the Brazilians, even getting that kill towards Denis in the outside position, making this round so damn expensive. The only player surviving was Cressy with the AUG, and for TeamOne, it comes down to being able to get into the vents without really taking any damage. We didn't see that incendiary, didn't see any spam coming through on the outside of that smoke, and for TeamOne, I love the aggression they use. As soon as they get that bomb down at lower, rather than just playing passive, they're looking to take fights out towards Secret.
Instantly, the AK is saved in. It was brought down with the AUG that was saved up. Mac 10 scouts in, a much better buy for TeamOne, just absolutely decimating the economy of Sprout. They still will have a bit of a forced invest because at this point you kind of have to go for it in the early game. But obviously not the start that the Sprout side would have wanted to. The pistol looked confident and decent, but with Team1 coming out so good on the conversion, Sprout might be looking a little bit more awkward this afternoon.
Yeah, this could be a little bit of a back and forth battle depending on how continuous really this force buying nature is. Sprout looking to try and see if they can bounce back quickly, but for TeamOne, diagonal smokes towards outside. PLT hasn't even found a contact as of yet.
Let's press forward here. Slow walk for Sprout. Very slow around this one. They know that Team1 are trying something, but they're still held towards outside. No one's got a default in towards an entryway at this moment.
With the util, it's a little bit light for the T side too, so depending on how much room and wiggle room they can actually get in terms of map presence, that's going to be able to start leaning the default further forward. A little bit of a stack going on towards this lower bomb site. This is a decent read for Sprout.
Walking in for PRT, maybe in for a bit of a shock. Keep his eyes ahead just for the moment. So far, so little given up by the Sprout side. Now something has, and Speedy takes the headshot for it. So, opening advantage for the CTs.
And now for Sprout, you got to wonder, are they going to start making their way back up the vents, put that smoke down to just buy some more time? Team1 need to get a little bit of a move on because there isn't a crazy amount of time to work with.
I think that Speedy is the only player here in the vents might be the next main concern. They might give up the ghost on his father's going to peek out and start checking it. XNS caught off. SMG spray only finds the 1 kill. Maluki can trade it back. So now they have A1, they have the A site. And Maluki still going to try hold off for the rotations in from Secret. Good trade on towards the likes of Speedy, but cannot follow suit on towards Denis. So 3 versus 2. Team1 have the advantage again.
This pretty much just locks out the round. Unless some magic really happens on this retake, this looks pretty much impossible for the CTs. Might as well just back off and save. Slacks even just taking a duel straight away onto Pesadello, and Cressy can't really get too much more than this. Does get away with 1 kill, but Malb's on the other side. And for Team1, now that sort of just ends that back and forth nature. They convert up with the second. And for Sprout, it just comes to not really being able to deal with Maluki in main.
It's good to see him, of course, kicking up a bit of a fuss here from the TeamOne. You mentioned him having a bit of an underperformance yesterday. It is very early doors, though, just mostly conversions coming in from both sides. So when the true guns come out, that's where the true test will begin for him. Pistols out for Sprout once again. Digo involved with Farvin. USP's on, and the Zeus for Cressy. The main couple of weapons that they'll have at the moment. TeamOne looking confident and trying to insert those Mac 10s in first and foremost, get the money going here for the T's.
Yeah, it's all about farming in a round like this, going into round 4, just being able to get those Mac 10s up close and personal. No armor for any of the players for Sprout. Very, very heavy on the eco. Just not investing a massive amount. And for TeamOne, they might be running into a little bit of a stack again. This time it's out towards ramp.
It's carefully placed at the moment. Nuke looking in, sees Denis. Just about lines up that spray. A little bit awkward, a little bit low for me. Quite good for a headshot. Estadelo finds Black as well. Doubles up, makes it a triple. No, Mob stalls it away. But yeah, anti-eco frags. No Mac 10 kills, so there's not a lot of money farm going on, but at least they don't lose anything at the moment.
Spitty's just open for a little bit of a straggler, but not to be at all. Pesadelo going to be able to open up with a 3K. And for Sprout, we know that sort of coming into this event, they hadn't played an official in pretty much 3 weeks, which was the back end of the group stage in ESEA Premier this season. So for them, I wonder if match sharpness is going to be a concern.
Yeah, it's something to keep your eyes on, because I don't think a lot of people really rate match sharpness too high. I think a lot of people seem to focus too much on potential. It's like, okay, we haven't seen them, so we don't really know what they're going to be able to do, which is kind of true, but at the same time, playing in an official is very different to playing into a scrim or a practice. So Sprout, a lot to show here, and a lot of potential in that kind of respect. The guns are out for them to try put that potential to good use, but Spitty tagged a 40 so early out with the nades.
Good utility usage to start off, just getting blocked up by that nade, trying to go into the vents position. Just a walkout from Squigdoor.
Flashes forward, Spitty in the vents, blind sprays, gets himself 1 and 2. Stolen away, 1 on the part of Denis as well, so a 4 versus 2 as trades do start coming back for the Mac 10 of the AK, and PRT somehow comes up with a double, bringing it back to an even man standing.
Jeez, what a recovery this has been for the T-side. Spitty's still trying to get out of this vent position. Pesadelo just misses that timing, but they've got an idea of where he is.
And the bomb's been dropped in vents as well. I don't know if the CTs are aware of it. They've got to make their way back downstairs, and looking away from heaven at the wrong moment could be the end of Pesadelo. He may have heard the footsteps. Well, Spitty's definitely caught off PRT, so it's all left to this one man. Back over at the vent. Triple up for him if he can clutch it. He will dive down, try grab that bomb, and go back in towards the B site. He's evaded Sprout.
You've got to wonder how they play this 2v1. We're already seeing Cressy down towards that lower bomb side. Pesadelo, does he fake it out? Just hold that whole bomb plant. Cressy ducked down. No bomb going down at all. Really well played there from Sprout. And just Cressy making sure that he's not completely overextending, waiting for that bomb plant to try and go through. But this is a position that you don't often see being held, especially on the ladder. But for Spitty, that was a hell of a lot of connections.
Indeed it was, and mostly blind as well. I'm more impressed with PRT towards outside. Like his Mac 10 really shouldn't have gotten as much done as it did, and that brought it back to a pretty even standing. So Sprout will take damage on the gun rounds, but they will come away with the round itself.
And this probably shows as well that we're going to have a quite a heavy contention, back and forth nature in this first half of Nuke. Nice and competitive, nice and close between the two sides. Slacks still hasn't been able to get the AWP out as of yet. He keeps running this scout.
Orbs in for Maluki instead as X&S draws first blood out the smoke. Spitty and Denis again with a crossfire upstairs, and Spitty's going to double up, try and make it a triple, transfer it back with a fantastic headshot, and Maluki left to do it all. He's found 1 kill and a second, looking up towards heaven for the headshot as well. Okay, multiple frags coming in from both sides, but his back's turned to Cressy, so he cannot complete the clutch, and Sprout will equalize.
All right, boys, it's on. It is on in this map. Jeez, what a sequence that is for Maluki to just try and make that round really start to get it recovered, find as much impact as possible. But for Sprout, it seems like the floor players on A are really finding a lot of success in those early upper executions from TeamOne, getting that early contact through, getting those early trades in. But at the same time, even with this tactical timeout for the Brazilians, you've got to wonder whether at least Sprout are having a bit of a conversation saying, guys, we let a lot of kills slip there in the end.
Indeed they did. I mean, from this 3K from Spitty, that third adjustment was a godlike play from him. I would have thought that would have been enough to win the round itself, but man, that AWP is going for Maluki. And like I said, the rifle rounds were going to be the true test for him in this matchup. And well, so far he's shown up really well for it. 8 kills deep in just 6 rounds. Top fragging and 1 ahead of the likes of Spitty, who's also top fragging for the Sprout side. 3 all standing, but the buyback for TeamOne is not going to be amazing.
We've seen a fair bit of outside presence from TeamOne, but it hasn't ever really been deep out towards garage or getting in towards sort of hell or lockers as of yet. It's mainly just been a lot of secret plays or even vent drops or just quicker up executions. Spitty just trying to put a couple of anti-rush nades down towards this squeak door position, but for the most part, TeamOne, they're regrouping with the bomb outside.
Smoke's down at the diagonals, so Denis is going to have to force forward if he wants to try catch information. No one from Heaven can see anything either. Slacks is finally upgraded to the AWP, but he's not going to be on the outside position right now. Currently focused entirely on that ramp position using X-Ray. TeamOne are going to make their way downstairs. Denis is going to hear the footsteps though, and he also heard the scope from Maluki. It would be suicidal for him to peek without any utility, and he'll go for it anyway, but Maluki misses the shot. That almost cost him.
Just hold him with the AWP. Now Slacks is trying to make a little bit of a move, but it could be a bit of a bait. Straight in towards the Deagle. It is the first shot on Pesadello to follow up for Slacks.
2 kills at him in this round. Moving 2 players from upper, now it's down to lower where Cressy holds it for Mast. Going to need some backup here relatively soon. Speedy is going to rotate alongside 2 more from the ramp position. Spray through, and Cressy almost lines it up to a second. Slacks deals with a backup in PRT, and Maluki will fall. As good as he is, that's too much of a clutch for him. All 5 alive here for Sprout.
Not really losing much at all, and even with that play towards outside, Denis obviously heard that scope and was thinking about how he sort of wants to try and deal with that AWP, but just a jiggle peek to be able to force that shot forward, but TeamOne not really being able to capitalise on it all too much in that last round.
Slacks, how quickly he's able to clean up these 2 players, and there were only pistols and MAC-10s against him, but brilliant stuff from him overall with that AWP. Mentioned him not upgrading past the scout, and now that he has, he's gotten a lot of impact his last couple of rounds. Sprout have the lead again. TeamOne are down to Eco. Upgrade pistols on PT-50s and a Deagle, but no Kevlar, no util. Not much to work with.
Yeah, they're just hoping for a bit of an overextension, bit of an aggressive move, but honestly for Sprout, they haven't been pushing hard, they haven't been pushing silo towards outside. That one aggressive play in that last round for Slacks from ramp was pretty much the only one we've seen so far.
Denis that gets involved in the aggressive play towards outside, finding the kill on PRT. Past the red box, he falls. Very, very slow other than that here for the rest of the CT and T sides. TeamOne have Mobs who peeks in and also gets tagged up by the rifle of Cressy, and AK. That does get a goosh in, but not quite the kill on it. But again, not like it matters too much here. Whether it be a goosh tag up damage, they're still going to have a very difficult time about this. Biddy, 2 more picks. Farvin with 2 on the back 10. Should grab the rifle. Maintain that 5th and maintain all the main weapons here for the CT side.
And remember last year we saw Sprout in Cologne where they had that 5th to 8th placing. They got all the way in towards the playoffs, and sort of at the time that was a little bit of a surprise to see how far that they went. So you've got to wonder, now that they come back to another Cologne event, is there anything there riding on it?
You've got to remember as well, different environments of Cologne from last year compared to this year. So, and how are Sprout going to handle that transition, and how far have they come in a year's time? Yeah, the last 6 months have not been encouraging for them, but so far it's relatively encouraging here in this map up. Rifles back out for TeamOne as they have AKs across the entire T-board.
Well, early nades coming through. Speedy getting spammed down pretty heavily by just a couple of bullets and that early molly out from the top hub position. TeamOne, this could be another up EXE.
Hard time that nade to do damage to the mass of the T-side forces, but that Molotov going to burn him down. Farvin's still up in the rafters though, and they haven't checked it. Almost makes it a 3, but unable to get PRT down very low at all. They'll slowly enter and check out all corners into the A site. They have May and they have the site itself. Heaven is being contested by Cressy, and the AWP towards outside has seen a pixel gap and almost lands that shot.
I don't know about the vent player though. Denis, how does he sneak up from this one? See the squeak player look to transfer over back to a 2v2.
AWP firing away blind. Cressy trying to work his way upstairs. Flash forward, and PRT is going to force the issue very far forward. Slacks is not ready for that. Had to go for the no-scope. Didn't really have much of a choice, but it still missed out. And Cressy trying to run down here, go for the silent drop. He got unable to make it happen. In the area on bomb on the site, tapping it, trying to force Maluki forward, flashing forward, spray through, comes up with the kill. PRT's also going to burn a little bit. Flashbang back down, potentially to try and block him off. He's still sticking it. PRT sees the swing now, and now he gets the round.
PRT, that's a huge round for him. 4 kills in it, and that's ballsy. That's really risky for the play that he made there. Trades just keep going back and forth. We get ourselves in a 2v2, and he tries to walk through the main smoke. High risk, high potential, and he's able to get away with 4 kills. That gets TeamOne back in it.
Back to a single round deficit at this stage. Bit awkward on PRT's opening frag, but everyone after that, wonderfully done there. Triple up for him. Quadra actually, in fact. I missed the first kill, but doesn't matter too much. Again, Sprout back up on the buy. AWP in for Slacks has been fantastic. And now there are several individuals stepping up here for TeamOne.
A little bit more of an aggressive stance towards outside. Get the AWP pressed forward. Denis out from the back of T-Red. This is something TeamOne haven't faced as of yet.
Bit more heavy-handed on the outside play, and Slacks, he's going to catch players so far off guard. PRT had absolutely no idea, but Maluki is able to find a response on Denis, so the Orbs go trading here, but they're still in play for both sides.
That's a bit of a wasted opportunity, isn't it? Just see the way that Denis is trying to jiggle peek for info, but as soon as Slacks works so hard to get that first pick, the trade just comes back.
Got the angle too high here. Smoke back down for Farben, who is on high from the up position. Pressing for Marshmallow, looking into the squeaky door, and he has driven them away for the rotation. Now he's going to rest on Cressy. Told the majority of defense out here towards ramp. Jump face, dry face. He does get away with the kill, but only one kill. XNS quick to respond.
It all just comes to the read now. And Sprout got a couple of players down towards the lower bomb site, and for TeamOne, there's still a lot of time to work with, but it does look like they are diving to lower.
Slacks and Farben holding face. AWP takes the shot, does not quite connect it. Second one does drop that bomb as well. Flashbang forward to suppress the third man is also on the rotation back here. No further shots in from Slacks' partner. Luke is going to contest up at the observation window. Waiting for the bomb plant. Spinny going to try to swing back. Pesadello caught off towards the outside. Tagged up a little bit. M4 burst does not get his kill shot. 19 HP for Pesadello, so he's not going to last much longer, I don't think. Trying to force forward, trying to catch Slacks off guard here. Seeing the shoulder. Finally getting a kill involved, so back to even. Second CT still up there, though. So it's all on Maluki. Out towards ramp. He knows of both players' presence. The flashbang connects pretty well. He's forced to the other side. Still looks in. Still catches information, but cannot seem to land the shots. He's stalling for time at this stage, and he gets the diffuser in Father. Now down towards Spitty, and just facing, just shoulder baiting here from Maluki could be enough. Spitty's got to get to the bomb. He's out of time. Maluki trying to force forward, and he gets his triple and clutches the round again for TeamOne.
Jeez, he's been impressive, hasn't he? Even in the important rounds, he's really delivering, and it all just comes to wasting time, just giving a bit of a shoulder. And as soon as you hear those bullets coming in, you just know that bomb's not being diffused at all, that it's just getting tapped and you're trying to draw him. Pesadello again, another one of these risky moves in the post plant, just pushing forward out towards double doors, taking that duel onto the AWP, and then Maluki winning the 1v2.
Because that risk really paid off for him, though, because I feel like if he hadn't made that play, then TeamOne would have just been picked apart. Again, he was such low HP, he kind of had to go for a hero-like play. Now, force is back in for Sprout. Equalized again, and TeamOne are doing really good here on Nuke, like surprisingly so.
It's all about gaining as many T rounds as possible for them to give themselves a little bit of an advantage into the second. Spitty towards outside with this deagle, but PRT has just been very rock solid on this outside angle, not really giving many advantages up for Sprout at all. Waiting for those smokes to dissipate, just try and see if he can get a little bit more involved and just allow this force fire to get as much as possible, and at least that's the start with the deagle.
Minute to the clock in this one. Face forward, XNS catches Spitty next up. 4 versus 4 scenario. Sprays through. No trades back from the Sprout side. Scout in also gets traded back by Molds next up. So the upgrade rifles are overwhelming. TeamOne have the advantage for the moment. 45 seconds. The 2 CTs thinking they're pushing up here towards the ramp control. This could be an interesting play here for Sprout, but they're covered it off here. Molds knows what's going on.
Yeah, Sprout in a bit of a position where they need to find some sort of advantage, need to try and peek up from the ramp position, get away with a one-on-one trade. Cressy does turn it back to a 2 versus 2. They don't know about Farfen as of yet.
Further shots in. Back to even standing for now. Face forward as the SMG of Farven also looks to the backlines. Can't quite see anything though. XNS moving his way around 15 seconds. TeamOne are going to go for a very slow, or very last second play in towards the A side. It's going to be quick. Farven swings out, sees his man, spray through, goes awry. Couldn't hold it together, so they will get to the site.
Cressy's got to really try and go for this, though. This is a force buy, and well, they know that he was out towards ramp, so can they gather the information that it could just be a playback from lobby?
And for Marston against XNS will be pretty good. It's Pesadello is going to be the main issue, and he's the first man to face, get that headshot in, and TeamOne will take the lead here against Sprout. The first time since, I think, the conversions at this moment, Sprout have put up the effort, but again, I'm surprised the TeamOne are doing this well. I mean, you talk about a map that, as we mentioned before, was a bit of a strength pick for the Germans. Looking at this one, it's like you look at everything that we have for TeamOne, and most of their results seem to be against the Brazilian scene above the European squad.
Yeah, very true. Knowing the way that both teams have put up results recently when it comes to Nuke, but for TeamOne, what's given them the upper hand in these last few rounds is just the way that they've just reset Sprout. They've forced them on that force buy in the last round. Now, 2,900 lost bonus. You can upgrade a couple of pistols here or there, give yourself a decent buy going into round 13. But for TeamOne, this should be the chance of them going 7-5 up.
And our 2-0 prediction starts looking a little bit more awkward at this stage, Dwayne, because, again, This one really could swing either way. Sprout, given the benefit of the doubt. So far, having a much more tougher time against TeamOne, and on their CT side as well for Nuke, so seeing how well this one goes in the second half. Fast plays in, Mac 10 downstairs to PRT, straight into the vent dive, not wasting any time at all. Spinny's going to try and see if he can chase them down here, but the incendiaries have gone out. They do smoke their way forward, and Spinny does make his way down there, making a lot of noise towards it, but the bomb will get planted. They can't deny this much. Has to be a retake for the CT Forces. They do get a tag off from PRT, but he just closes that door, siphons them off. Farben gets the opening kill against his name. XNF goes out.
Just even the late sort of wrap in towards that ramp position, there was a little bit of a sneak there of just trying to get the whole bomb defused, but yeah, it's not going to happen up against TeamOne. They get away with 1 kill, so they do some economical damage, but really that eco doesn't find a lot at all. Now an opportunity to get the rifles forward. Slacks on the AWP again.
Very cheeky to try to go for a ninja with 10 seconds, literally like 3 feet away from the T side, so... I do appreciate the attention and the opportunity there and the tenacity of Sprout to try to go for that, but not really one that will work out for them. Rifles back in, the AWP for Slacks out ahead of Kevlar, and a lot of players here. It is Spitty with the helmet on the CT side, but that's it. Everybody else, main stable rifles, of course, limited utility sets as well for them. TeamOne again having the advantage, and that Mac 10 for PRT becomes a little bit more juicy for them. Delo does take close face though, and Spitty does land the opening kill to him.
Just putting that smoke down straight away onto the molly and looking to take a fight on towards the squeak door angle. A Team1, been a little while since we've seen them in a man disadvantage, but they're just going to explode towards the upper bomb side. Farfen, though, getting away with 2, but we're back to a 2v2 somehow.
The trades on the Team1 side have been so efficient. I'm so surprised that they're getting away with this here, Dweg. As you mentioned, even man standing, that bomb's going to make its way downstairs as well. The attention has been drawn. Cressy picking it from lobby, just shut down immediately by PRT. Without mercy, he gets that headshot, and it's all left to Slacks now to clutch it with the AWP in hand. No kit for him, and therefore I don't think any chance either.
We even saw in that mix of things, Maluki just diving that bomb down into the vents, getting to that lower bomb site, and getting the info onto Slacks.
Footsteps heard, PRT knows what's going on. Slacks also realizes it's downstairs, plant will open up the doors, and just start converging in with more and more info being given up. He does bait the T-side player to aggress on PRT's part, but doesn't see the man up close. He lands the no-scope, okay. But still got to think about his realistic chances in this round. It might be best to go ahead and hold on to the AWP, just rest on that one exit, and that's what he'll do. This will be an 8th round for Team1 as Sprout continue to struggle on CT.
And Team1's just basis on T-side is just the trading game. That's been the majority of their default heavy stuff, and even sort of those Xes towards the upper bomb site, rather than trying to get that deep map control and start sort of baiting in rotations, scrambling the CTs and finding open avenues of approach. It's just right. How far forward can we sort of pummel? How up close and personal can we take these fights? And for Sprout, so many situations in which we're seeing multi-kills, we're seeing man advantages being gained on the early defense, but then when the site gets taken overall, it seems like it's always even.
Yeah, shockingly so, I want to say. Like, you know, again, especially when you see where Sprout coming up with some really big, like, you know, aggressive plays or outside plays, and they get into the site and they just capitulate. And I'm just so surprised that it's gone down that way. Team1 are definitely doing a fantastic job at responding to anything that Sprout are doing. So even at the advantage, you can't really give the round to the German camp. Rebuy is up, I believe, coming in from the CT Forces. They bought their SMG on Farben. It's round 14 though. They've got to think about the 15th buy.
Oh, you're not thinking about round 15 though. You got to be thinking about what you got in front of you. Last thing you want to do in a lower bracket round 1 game is start thinking to yourself, oh, actually lads, like let's hold on to a little bit of money in case you lose it. You got to think about, right, we buy down as much as we can, try and see if we can keep the economy as you know possible, but we're looking for damage. We're looking to try and find the impact, and that's the start they need. The Deagle even getting involved too. They just keep charging through this smoke.
Spitty also forces forward towards the lobby entrance over a Squeaky. The AWP's in. XNS is still alive though. He gets 2 to respond, but this time Sprout are on top of it, leaving it all to PRT. Bomb dropped as well. The CTs know it, and he is aware that they have full control of the lobby position. Has allowed Denis to sneak past him though, so there is one linchpin play on the Sprout side, but again, it might just be the main CT force he's got to worry about. Player on the roof of Farben. His eyes out for PRT just in case. It may come down to timing of when he peeks back in from the ladder. And PRT holding back, ready for Denis above all else.
Just a bit of a strong lobby crunch coming through, and for Team1, it was just them continuing to push forward. PRT's just going to get picked on by Denis. The Deagle does get away with a tag. The wallbang shots are doing some more though.
15 HP for him. No HE for PRT to finish off the job. Flashes his way forward to look into the lobby position. Denis is not going to go up the angle until it's appropriate to do so, but no, Farben Frag found SMG to draw him out. An AK saved as well for the CT side. Wonderfully done there for Sprout. And a hell of a return around. Didn't even need to think about the force. They did it on a half play.
Yeah, and in a situation like that, it's probably a bit frustrating for TeamOne, knowing that Sprout haven't really made that many aggressive moves, and then late in towards the first half, when we're on the CT side, they just go, okay, don't have the best device in the world, we'll just half invest into it, go for something a little bit quicker. And for TeamOne, that was their chance to really put more rounds up on the T side. The best that they can get is 9 now.
Spitty. And challenging mobs towards the outside. The AK seeing him to the edge of the smoke, but cannot quite seem to get the kill. Denis actually opens up on XNS instead. Mobs drops right in towards him and adjusts fantastically alongside Pesadillo. Again getting trades involved. Mobs picks up a second kill as PRT is traded. So once again, in the midst of the chaos, we're down to evens, but not for long. Farvin finds a response, and Pesadillo is all that remains here. AK involved, 1v2. He's got a kill already. Farvin is very low, though. If he gets Cressy here towards Hell, that could be the opening.
It all comes down to how does he isolate and how does he even pre-aim this position out towards that left-hand side? Does he look out towards CT spawn? No, he gets caught off. Sprout taking it to 7 at the half.
Indeed they do. TeamOne with a struggle, but they do come out on top by a single different round as we head towards the second. It's the big challenge for the Germans after the break. By a slight margin on their map pick, but again, Sprout have they've done some decent work here, Dwayne. It's the case that they were actually on the front foot for the majority of the opening rounds, and now when they get on the front foot in these ones, whether their TeamOne side can respond towards that, well, that's yet to be seen as the pistol goes quickly live, and Sprout are just as quick as TeamOne, where it seems straight in towards this wrap dive. Molbs sees what's coming and has to back off.
Nice and quick to start off here for Sprout. TeamOne got to try and get rotations down to that lower bomb site. Malb's going to rely on him to try and find connections. Only gets away with 2.
Bomb plant will be secured at the very least. Pesadillo sees what's going on, though. Him and Maluki can swing out, get the kills at appropriate, and PRT still lurking up upstairs. Finds Spitty next up, and TeamOne take the pistol. A fast play from Sprout, but again, TeamOne, they found the adjustment every time.
Yeah, maybe pace isn't the way to go here in the second half for Sprout over on the T side, because really for Malbs, it came for him to just waste as much time as possible, allow those rotates to come into some decent positions, and while he did need the assistance, he did a lot by himself.
He really did. Like, that was a really nice, impressive pistol play from him. With TeamOne, a big opportunity to open up on the CT side, the instant rebuy back, and we have seen how many times these rebuys have been countered by the forced invest of the T side line, and not so much of a forced buy in this particular round here, more of a hero scout setup from the T's.
Yeah, they've still got to make it expensive, though. Still try and see if they can take a couple of CTs down with them. Try and see if they can take any of the rifles out of play, if that's possible. But for Slacks, it all just lies on him in this round.
Scope looking up. Sees the headshot, but only lands the tag. That looks so good for him as well. Pesadillo, 31 HP, barely stays alive. Finally, Slacks can finish off that kill. They have crossed past PRT, and he knows that there's a player out towards the garage position, so they'll look for Denis, seeing the shadow as well for Spitty. So a lot of information going in the way of TeamOne.
Maluki's got to be careful on how wide he swings out. He doesn't know how many T-side players are in and around that garage position. Farfan's been able to sneak really far deep. This is a backstab now.
Oh, he's going to see at least one player go for the headshot deal with Maluki, but got to check the locker rooms, and Molbs can find a response. Great positioning there from Farfan, unable to make it work fully as PRT now gets the SMG involved. Takes 2 frags, but he can trade it. But now he's all alone, and Slacks falls to Molbs on the outside. 2 kills for the AUG and only a Glock to work with. There's so many weapons dropped across the map here, but none of them are in his distance. Just can't reach them here.
It's still so much economical damage, though. You've got a Deagle and a Scout that gets away with 3 kills. Malbs has got the perfect reposition, though. He finds a triple in the round. TeamOne, it gets you up to 10. It gets you up to double digits, but you'd still be a little bit anxious about that because they lost a lot, and they could get reset now off the back of it.
You know, rebuys involved, and you mentioned for Sprout, their main focus was to get damage on the board, and with 2 players alive, I'd say that's pretty decent damage in their own right. Just clips again of Slacks and Farvan, how they were able to dish out the opening couple of kills, and how PRT also fell to Spitty, eventually making that mini dive work out for him. But again, the big concern here is the guns. AK's out, Deagle's still in for Slacks, of course, with the Scout that he bought in the previous round. He hasn't got much of a choice. TeamOne broken by, still with a Scout and an SMG here for Maluki and XNS, so potential for a reset is right on, but PRT to strike first and foremost. Pesadillo catches Spinning on the crossfire as well. Cressy responses, Pesadillo and XNS are cleaning up, and well, what do they have to fear, Dweg?
Yeah, nothing at all by the seams of it. Really great sequence towards that outside position. PRT, he's been very, very impressive so far for this TeamOne side, but just the crossfires, the utility they use in, and for Sprout, they really struggled to find even just a contact play outside.
Straight in with TeamOne to decimate Sprout, and if that's a sign of things to come, then it's time to be scared, I think, for the boys. 11-7. And now just down to the eco, again with upgrade pistols as you expect here from the T-side line. There's AK saved on 2 players for the TeamOne camp, and what went from a really broken buy has now turned into a complete investment with T-weapons to boot. Seems like Sprout are going to go quickly into the defaults here. Nades on Farvan will try stalling from going for the rush out. Does see the one player, tag X and S down, so slight HP advantage here for Sprout.
Pesadello, do they even check this position out towards ramp, or is it just going to be the easy pick coming through onto Denis? It's quite wide on this angle position, and yeah, not even being checked at all. It's an easy pick.
Nice and efficient. Good kill. M4 burst up, sees another man. Made a bit mistimed on Cressy. They've thrown it a bit earlier that would have connected, but stays alive for the most part. Still with the HP advantage, still with the man advantage for Team 1 at this stage, and Sprout. Again, you look at this, you don't really know how they can work out of this. The Deagles could get some decent connections to headshots, but you're not really counting on those with big moments that they were able to happen, and for now they are working in slowly. This crossfire locked by PRT and XNS, and XNS sees what's going on. Does get overwhelmed with the numbers game, actually, so 4 versus 4, backup is on the way. Cressy falls, the bomb drops down, PRT with those 2 picks back in, trying to overwhelm on Slacks, and Farvan actually steals away the kill on Pesadello, so 2v2 with the bomb that can get planted here.
Now, this is a very good position for the T's to try and work with. Malbs has got to be careful on just how wide he tries to swing out. Flash comes through, dive down! What? Oh no! It's really turning around for Sprout now!
Oh, that's a huge mistake to make, and Maluki now got to do it all. Top fragger, or second top fragger, I should say. The AWP in his hands. Is it better to swap to the Deagle? Looking down to Slacks, looking up towards the back lines. As soon as he peeks in one position, he's going to be revealed to the other T-side member, and Slacks gets the kill involved to steal it here for Sprout, an eco victory. And all down to that suicide dive. They needed to get that kill on the man, but they were unable to do so.
Yeah, that's sloppy for Team 1 to allow that much impact coming through for just the eco pistols, and that's a 4 versus 2 advantage, and all of a sudden it just starts swinging back and back and back, and for Sprout, even just the tag up onto Malbs, he was already on 53 HP when he spent down, not being able to land on the little sort of ramp, or the yellow ramp that we see from the Heaven dive, and because of that, just falls.
That one tag made all the difference in the world, it seems. He was safe when he went for the dive, but that's how quickly a game of Counter-Strike can really change here. 11-8. Sprout have got their first of the T-side board, and Team 1, well, they have a force back here. Tactical pause was called in by the Sprout side. I would have called it in if I was Team 1 right there, because I think I agree with you in the sense that that was very sloppy. They can't let that happen again, but on to the rebuy. 2 Deagles in play around the 2 M4s and all.
Yeah, Sprout, they'll be very happy with being able to find the conversion there, because it just gives them a little bit more safety to try and work with in recovering these rounds in the second half. Early spams coming through from Squeak Door, but really it's a little bit more passive, a little bit slower this time around from Sprout.
Much more careful, knowing that Team 1 probably have forced the issue, and they have misestimated what Team 1 can do several times over the course of this map, so don't want to let that happen here and now when economy is up for a reset. Maluki to the top of the silo, but doesn't see anything at this moment. We'll keep his eyes just in case, but falls back in the end.
Team 1 need to find a bit of an early advantage in a round like this, and you've got to wonder, in what way do they do that? Is it a little bit more of a gamble stack? Is it a bit more of an info play? But even towards outside, this is just a complete fake for Sprout. They're not even putting emphasis there.
Just backed up, Cressy and Farvan. Slow walkings, PRT. Last man out of the gate, M4 involved. Can he see Cressy back here? I mean, if he does, you see the bomb first and foremost. He has seen the Molotov that peeks out. He also sees Slacks' AWP, who gets the connection, and one of the crucial M4s will drop. Another M4 and a Deagle is also set here towards the A crossfire, and the AWP is coming in from the lower portions of the site. Cressy comes up with the kill, XNS with one of his own, but only one. Slacks with the response, and now 4 versus 2 as the Deagle gets overwhelmed. Maluki's got a save.
And everyone else might as well have a bit of a crack at that round, just try and see if it's possible. But for Maluki, just hold on to the AWP. And that force buy really wasn't able to find a lot of success. The thing that probably made that round so much more difficult was just how early one of those M4s fell. When you're in a situation where you've only got a few rifles to play with, you'd prefer for the Deagle to fall first. You make a little bit more of an aggressive play there, but once you lose those rifles early in the round, it's so difficult to recover.
In fact, it was so out in the open as well. You know, just straight down the squeaky door angle. So no one could swing really without that AWP or another AK watching the position. So the Eagle's going to pick it up. And even then, they weren't even in a position to do so. So yeah, not great from Team1. But I give them a little bit of leeway. Again, that was a bit of a half buy, or I guess forced buy with mostly pistols. The AWP staying in will not have any buy surrounding it. This has got to be an eco for Team1. Oh, okay. I didn't see the man creeping up there. I was a little bit worried when I saw the X-ray. I was like, okay. He does stay alive, though, so at least they have the AWP still. Yeah,
keep the AWP in play. For multikill, he was very fiery towards the start of the T side, but he has slowed down a little bit. I guess that he hasn't had the AWP potential a massive amount here in the second half, but even in a round like this, you kind of have to look at him to just do as much damage as possible because they don't have a lot around it.
He's going to AWP challenge him for slacks as well. He's going to see the pistols towards outside, inside the same situation. The most of multikill set very, very deep into the ace site. He's going to try press forward actually towards the hut position. Does not see. He does see Speedy. The right timing with the USBs getting the kills on Cressy as well. It's a 2-for-1 trade. And Farman's also tagged. He takes the first kill of the round for the T side as well. The AWP's firing back. Going to try and catch him blind. They're closing in the pincers against Farvan. He's dead to rights. I want to stay here. AK picked up for XNS. Does get dealt with. So back to evens will go.
Denis has got a bit of a walk towards that lower bomb site, so he's going to be able to give the info of, okay, can we drop the bomb in towards Vent? How difficult is that going to be, though?
They've still got lobby contention here for Team1, so I'd say pretty difficult. Morbs' Deagle is going to be a bit more awkward, and multikill starts rapping, gets his second kill on the rotation back into the squeaky door, knowing that Farvan was around there somewhere, and he sat there for way too long. The bomb will commit out towards outside instead. There's no one watching it for Team1, so it can go down to the site safely. Both CTs being upstairs as well.
Jeez, this is so winnable for Team1 in this 3 versus 2. Denis is already down here towards lower. It's going to take a little bit of time for the rotates. There's only one kit in play and without a kit, but still for Team1, man advantage and an AK being picked up for Pesadello. This looks workable.
And again, this is all off the back of pistols. That AWP was the only thing they had here into this round. Molotovs from Denis will reveal the plan. Rotations will be sort of slow. Slacks will just peek forward just in case, be a bit more cautious about it. But plant will be secured. Events is not an option. All 3 players from Team1 coming in from Rap.
And they've got a little bit of utility to work with, but for Slacks, he's still playing in the sights, trying to work around the smoke.
Oh, sees the angle, misses the shot, unfortunately. Got to rotate back to hard cover. Re-smoke it down. Second AK also in play now for Mons. Just realized that. Reface into the flash. It's Denis that catches the kill. multikill trades it back, so all on Denis to get his 3K. Flash forward, jumps past the double doors and gets towards observation. The windows have not been popped. They will not keep their eyes until they give up an angle. They're on the defuse right now, though. Got to be a spray. Then it's got to catch him blind. He forces one player off. Gets multikill to drop. Makes it a triple to just hold the round together for Sprouts. 13 HP from falling it. Now within 1 of the difference.
Jeez, there's some miscommunication there going on for Team1. So Pesadello was on the bomb, but he was looking out towards that left-hand side, maybe expecting that Denis was going to just get that first pop shot off and then go out towards double doors. He gets off the bomb, gets to try and stick it again, and at this point, the time's just not there. What a clutch coming through for Denis, and that was not easy at all.
Absolutely not. And Sprout now in control against Team1. But again, in terms of grand context, you've got to remember, that was basically an eco for Team1.
Yeah.
So the fact they didn't have that much damage, it means there's potential in terms of the long game for them to be able to shut down the economy of Sprout. There's still a couple of high rollers involved, but $2,000, $2,800 for Farvan, $1,700 for Cressy. Like, not a lot to go for them in terms of the reserves, so Sprout have got to be careful. They concede this, the buyback's going to be awkward.
Team1, you're right about pressure in a round like this. When you look at the money in the reserve and you think to yourself, well, it's not going to be the last chance, obviously, but they would love to be able to win round 22. And Sprout, in terms of pace, it's been so different. 2 respected teams on T side.
XNS holding, Slacks gets the opener, sees PRT, kicks things off, up in the rafters. XNS has not been checked, and they're not, okay, they're out in the open now. They will see them, and multikill falls. XNS gets those 2 kills in, but Farvan holds the trades together. 3 versus 2 with Spiddy being tagged pretty low. Slacks watching as Morbs and Pesadello start making their way up. They've seen the player in the back, though. Bomb plant could be denied. He gets his double involved, so now it's back to the favor of Team1. And it's Spiddy left in this clutch, the player on 10 points of health, now being heard as he gives up the info to Lobby, and they can stick the defuse from here. They know that as long as they cover off the hut position, the hut entrance, then he's got no chance of denying this defuse at this moment. And yeah, they'll just hold it together. Nothing he can do. 12 to the board of Team One.
That was quite patient from Malbs, just realizing he's got to get the trigger discipline. He's got to try and sneak his way out from that hut position to really find a lot of impact into the round. And finishing up with a double kill. No eyes there out towards hut for the T's.
Very dire for them. Mulbs allowed so much breathing room. This massive, massive blind spot in the defensive. And another tactical coming in. Their third in this game here for the Sprout side.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy, for sure. Both respected teams have put in the hard yards, and we're now getting to a bit of a state where we get into the early 20s. Who is going to start being able to pull ahead? Team One really felt like they haven't given up much of a lead at many points so far in this opening map. Sprout, gotta wonder what they're even talking about in this tactical.
There can be many conversations happening at this stage, Dwayne. Like, there's been some very, very awkward moments for them. Did have them down a Dagger 2-0 as well above the likes of Team One. Team One are currently on to win this map up, and if you see this round coming in for them, then you could see the reset, that how difficult it will be for Sprout to rebuy. Yes, they have got AKs and AWPs out for this round. It's the follow-ups which I'm concerned about. We could be looking down 14-10, and how winnable that would be for this CT side.
Pesadello towards outside. Man actually faced a fair bit of contact. Sprout, a lot of these outside defaults have been more so just lurks and fakes. Maluki pushing so far forward. He's been seen by Farfan though.
Yeah, that shoulder bay got the information. They know that they pushed it. Trying to get the flashbangs forward perhaps. Point him out. Second player is also there in PRT. They've got so much eyes here in the lobby entryways, and XNS will catch Farfan for his trouble. So, opening frag goes the way of Team One, but meanwhile, Sprout, using that one player to distract them, is going to make their way down into the B site. Quick rotations and Mulbs will still be out here. Burst fire does not connect much onto Spitty. He gets tagged to 48 instead.
Pesadello getting caught off by the AWPer, and now you get into a bit of a situation where you think, how likely is this retake?
Still somewhat on. We've got kits in on all players, except for XNS. And this is close though. Okay. Will they check the corner? Will they be so focused on the site itself? No, they're going to escape. They're going to go ahead and save here. Discipline play. I'm not sure whether actually, yeah, there's not a lot of money. This probably is a smart call.
Yeah, it is. And you don't have information. You got to remember straight away, they don't have anyone out from Secret. They did, but Pesadello just gets caught off by the AWPer really quickly. So even on that ramp contact, they don't know, has anyone pushed aggressive? Are they looking to take intent fights? And, well, we could see up on our screen that Denis was pushed right up there. He could have been able to get a multitude of frags. And with the loss bonus really being low at only that 1900, it's just not worth it. Save into the weapon. Someone can drop at least something over to Pesadello. But Sprout, they're not giving in here.
This has been quite the close contest to start off the day, Drake. Like, didn't know, I wasn't sure if map 1 would go quite the distance, but for Sprout, definitely, they have kept it close. 12-11 from us in for Pesadello. Be that weak weapon at this stage. Incendiary's out. Pesadello going to make his way towards the outside control. Back looking for the garage entrance. Nades up, smokes back down. M4 keeping his eyes forward. Spray blind, does damage, and eventually gets the kill on Denis. Further fire forward, and Pesadello will not peek forward to the flashbang, unfortunately. 4 HP for Spitty, though. He's been tagged somewhere else. Very heavily, Pesadello forces forward. Can't get slacked, though. It's a response.
Jeez, they just don't give in at all towards this outside position. Malb's even thinking of making an aggressive play, but now they get back to a 3v3. Spitty is low. That bomb's been seen out towards the secret position. They don't know about Farfan in lobby, though.
Kind of been siphoned off as well. Spitty's been tagged and everything, so really it's all on Slacks to try and hold the main T-side force together. Farvan's flank has got to come in somehow. Mr. The Smoke has peeked forward. He's found the right timing on XNS. Can he get the kill against him? Well, he's been seen instead. AK drawing their attention back, but surely they should know that that bomb's making its way in from Secret, so is there going to be a flank play? Will they try and go towards outside? Like, what's the call here?
Well, there's so much time, so that's something you've got to consider for the CTs of, okay, are they now bringing that bomb back towards the top of outside and just starting to work a little bit of a default with it? And that's where you could just see at least PRT towards upper. He keeps flicking back towards heaven just in case there is that wrap.
See, Farvan's thinking about it, and he actually is up in heaven right now, so now he's going to provide Overwatch without them to make their way towards outside. But PRT on the defensive, he's got such a passive angle from that side of the entrance. 20 seconds, and now XNS starts creeping closer. Farvan might be in trouble. Slow walk, Sprout. Very, very quiet about this one, but now they're going to have to make some noise to get to the site quickly. utility if nothing else. 10 seconds remaining. PRT watching, looking up, sees one player in the rafters, going to focus entirely on Spiddy. His wildfire does not connect towards the bomb carry, but still XNS gets the kill on Farvin, but Slacks bails out the plant, so a 2 versus 2 retake.
PRT's just being forced further and further back, needs to wait for Maluki to come inside, but there's a backstab.
Spiddy can't hold this aggressive angle. He's going to get dealt with so quickly unless he gets the headshot on the first moment he gets a chance. Slacks his AWP. What's he going to do here? Bomb's not planted for him. Got to look in at the moment. AK watching. AWP's been seen. He gets sprayed back though. AWP sees one man. Got to look back in. Cannot catch the frag towards the AWP's now on the defuse really quickly. And Maluki makes it a 2K to get that 13th for TeamOne.
That's a very, very good retake again coming through for the Brazilians, because you could see that hesitation out from the Heaven position, not really looking to go down towards denying the bomb from going, but also taking that fight out towards Squeakdoor. Couple of over-aggressive plays coming through. Slacks seemed like he was going to be the one to recover the round, but for TeamOne, no matter how close these rounds really seem like they are, they're still holding the contention and holding onto their lead.
And even when Sprout are at the advantage by a certain technicality, like you look at that and you still see TeamOne fighting back every single time. I'm surprised at how many times they've done this over the course of this matchup, because it's been so consistent. Sprout finding early starts and then finding a good way to respond towards them. TeamOne still in the lead by 2 rounds, and Sprout another buyback. And again, the reset is so on for both sides.
Yeah, Malb's just jiggle peeking out towards ramp. Might need a little bit of help, because there are a lot of TC players here trying to explode out.
Incendiary up. Mob's going to have some backup at the very least. It's him and Maluki. Maluki's been tagged by HE. Maluki's going to burn Spiddy as well. Finally, Farvin catches that AWP at the end of the smoke, gets his headshot into a 4 versus 4. So back to evens we go.
Ooh, Denis, he could have the play towards outside. This could all just rely on information, being able to clear out garage, getting deep in towards that Hell and Lockers area. TeamOne, they're playing no one around here or in Heaven.
Goes very quiet now here for round 25. So slow. M4's in the rafters and towards closed vent. XNS is watching for Denis. First and foremost, he expects this to be a Heaven play. Did he see the pixel with the man? I don't think he did. He does now, gets the kill. And advantage back for TeamOne, and now the execution's got to come in from Sprout. 30 seconds to do so. They're looking up to the rafters. They know that he's there. Taps up the head. PRT now with it all to do. Great hold on the first man, not the second though. M4 and Mob swings back though, gets his kid involved. Slacks with 6. Can't do anything. TeamOne 2 away from the win.
They're getting closer and closer now, and for Sprout, the money's just not here at all. 2,400 loss bonus. They're going to use their last tactical, but you might even have to just Glock this round out. There really is not a lot of working room with the economy to even buy down Deagles and a bit of armor and just upgraded utility. It's not going to happen. TeamOne just getting in the right positions at the right time, and I want to even say that hold from XNS, just looking up towards a Heaven position, was the difference maker, making sure that wrap from Denis is being held on, and that there wasn't any trades back from there.
I think becoming the saviour of the round for me, definitely so. Tip the tide in the favour of TeamOne, and I feel like had he been taken out earlier, then that probably could have been a bomb plant on a retake that TeamOne couldn't handle. And that definitely would have had to be a safe call had they got that down in the 4 versus 3, so. And Sprout on the eco of their own right, Glocks in. Deagle on 1, but that's it. No util, no Kevlar, no nada for the T side. And how do they play this? Fast, slow, try draw CTs in, maybe try get Farvin involved in a kill, try instigate him. What do you do here, Dwayne?
It's a difficult one because it's a little bit of a throwaway, but you're just looking for something. Try and set the Deagle up. Try and see if you can sneak on this T side. Denis knows that he's been able to get a lot of freedom towards their outside position by crossing in towards Garage. Even for Pesadello, though, just so deep.
Teams are going to have a very difficult time about getting him. How careful do you want to be? Farvin boosted up. Did he see mobs? I don't think he did. Bit too far out. Still looks for that gap and lands a tag for it. Well done. Just can't get the kill. Too much for them to do. Mobs and Maluki opening up the round. And Cressy does finally find a trade back, but still 2 for 1 for the CTs.
Oh, hang on. There's a bit of a Glock coming through out from the L position. Pesadello struggling. Now we're in a 3v3, and they can recover a rifle, but PRT is here to at least make sure that doesn't happen and follow up with a couple.
Okay, good recovery from him. That looked very, very awkward for Pesadello. Presley, M4 in hand, still going to try and isolate a kill here. Let's get the frag in, but unable to do any more than that. So I guess it's eco damage, so that's all respectable. But again, the main concern for me is the fact that we're now on map point for TeamOne. 4 of them in favor of the CT side. And Sprout, well, this buy is going to carry forward straight up to that point if they want to go to OT.
Yeah, TeamOne have got a very good chance of being able to close out here, especially when you start looking at that buy. You don't have that orb that's been trying to come out the majority of rounds where money is applicable there for Slacks. And TeamOne too, they don't exactly have a massive amount of money in the reserve for them either.
Straight down to the drop. Pesadillo holds the defense against Denis, but doesn't quite hold it for the kill. XNS has been hurt here. Slacks is going to be ready with the bomb on his back. Maluk is going to get a kill on Cressy, so 4 on 4. Looking down range, sees that nade coming out. Gets no more for it. M4 in the back, and the CT still holding as the T's drop down into the B site. Get the plant in, set up the retake.
This could be an instant save to come out for TeamOne. 4v4, no one on B, money not there. It's the smarter option.
They're slowly pushing into ramp. Okay, now they're going to make it a bit more quicker. Reveal positions and fall back. Yeah, this will be a safe call, I think. Yeah, definitely saving at this moment for TeamOne. Very disciplined play. Again, I do like it from TeamOne at the very least. Recognizing their economy is not there, and they can at least drop a FAMAS out to Pesadillo again. Get him set up on a gun, because had they lost all 4 players in this, it would have been straight USPs.
It's just intelligent Counter-Strike is what it is there for TeamOne. You've got a few chances to be able to close out here before it gets to overtime, and why throw it away when you've got absolutely no loss bonus, you've got no money in the reserve. Malbs is probably the best chance to at least drop Pesadillo over something. Give him an M4 to work with, at least give him a decent rifle, but Sprout, we've got to wonder, what are the chances of trying to bring it to OT? We're going to see a tactical now for the Brazilians.
Appropriate time to do so. 1 left in the back pocket as well that they can use for OT or for the match point or the 30th round. Sprout. And again, the idea coming into this round was always set from the moment the save was called. Get the FAMAS on Pesadillo. Yes, you won't be on a rifle, on an M4 rifle, but they will have a rifle for him regardless. Holster up utility, which will still be a little bit limited on a couple of forces, particularly, again, Pesadillo we're looking at. But TeamOne still have this game in the palm of their hands. All they got to do is just close it.
It's easier said than done sometimes, though. Sprout, have a look at the situation for them, and they think, okay, what are the buy rounds? We know round 28. We know that with 1900 loss bonus, there's not really going to be much in round 29. So round 28 and round 30 are the 2 rifle opportunities that TeamOne have here.
Here's the first rifle for the CT side. It's burst through from Mulbs, of course, spraying through that smoke, hoping to catch off presence and seeing nothing at all from Sprout. Again, very careful on this T-side basis. Do not want to force too far forward.
A bit of spam coming through just to get a little bit of early info. PRT just trying to see if he can sneak a little bit. At least just close out these positions, gather a little bit of early info. But Sprout been very, very passive from them on T-side.
Has baited in tiny amounts of util from TeamOne as well, so they've still got a lot to defend with going into the 2nd minute. Slow walks in towards the lobby controls. The outside smokes have been set up, and on the minimap it looks a little bit sloppy on those outside smokes, and there might be a little bit of information going the way of the CT side. No, it might be a bit of a ruse, but backing off the position, they're still holding their defense.
XNS, when does he decide to make a little bit of a play? Malb's going to get overly aggressed out from ramp. Oh, okay. Follows up with a couple of kills and still holds onto his life.
That might be it, I think. 5 versus 3. TeamOne just got to make sure they do not bottle it from here. Molds are going to get out of dodge again, maintaining his life. Going to need some backup, though. He's on 13 points of health. He's holding back it dark. Pesadillo is here with the FAMAS. We can get some information, potentially set up Molds for another good kill. If he gets a kill in of his own right, that would be 1 versus 4 there. XNS kill on against Finny as he trades back. Slacks responds to a 3 versus 2 now. Bomb out there, or missed out from Maluki into the backline. Slacks still hold on presence. And finally, Pesadillo deals with 5, and he doubles up onto Slacks and makes it 16-12 for TeamOne at long last.
What a result coming through for TeamOne, and it just seemed like they were the more solid team in that 2nd half, a little bit more composed and a little bit more fire to come for them.
It was their map pick, so they hold it together, and as we head towards map 2, they are the ones up in the series.